We got to rally around. That's a patriotic thing to do. No,
we never.
How about asking questions? Asking questions. Yeah. Well, you don't want to ask questions. You just follow. You know, the president says he'll lead you and off to war against these people. You just follow. You don't want to ask questions. That's the American way. You know, it's not. And it leads to a lot of hatred. And now it has grown into another beast, Mike. It's grown into hatred, all right? We've become a people who are paranoid, a people who are frightened, and a people filled with hatred towards anybody who isn't like us in any manner. And we saw that this week with this nutty preacher. I won't call him a pastor. That's a title of respect. He's a preacher, but a preacher of hatred. This Pastor Terry Jones from this teeny tiny little cult of a church down in Florida. He got his 15 minutes of fame and then some because of the media. Mainstream media put him all over and, of course, incited a worldwide crisis if he was going to burn Korans. Mm-hmm. Who does that sound like, burning books? Who else did that? I hate to always go to this guy.
Wait a minute, Jeff. It's on the tip of my tongue. That guy with the funny haircut.
Yeah, a little mustache.
Even funnier mustache.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
Slick down in front, across the face. Yeah. That's what they did in Nazi Germany.
Exactly what they did.
When does that become a good idea to burn books? Ever. Well, it's a pack of lies. There's a lot of books that are a pack of lies. Pick up any president's autobiography. That's a pack of lies, right?
Yeah.
You want to burn them too? This guy is a nut, okay? He is not a man of God. He is he's a cultist.
Yes, he is.
He isn't preaching the real gospel of Jesus, obviously. And there's a real problem with this. I have a real problem with this. His own daughter said that he is a guy who is in need of help, that he's gone off the deep end, he's disturbed, he needs help. His own daughter said this. He started a church in Germany. I don't know what he was doing in Germany. Maybe brushing up on what Hitler did, huh? And the people over there finally kicked him out of the church he started. They said he was violent, he was radical. Not radical in his, following of Christ and belief, but just radical. They said he wasn't the kind of pastor who did everything and took care of anyone. He didn't project the biblical values of Christianity, but always made himself the center of everything. And isn't that what he did this week? He was the center of everything. He had everybody talk radio, on TV and the newspapers, everybody talking about him, that he was going to burn Korans. He is a charlatan, much like Glenn Beck, who is grandstanding. Once again, it was all about him. If you're truly following Christ, you're a humble servant, okay? You know he is God, he is Lord, he is your Savior. You are his follower. You're humble. As we see all the disciples were, very humble and thankful. And let me tell you, folks, you go to a church where it's all about the pastor. He's the center of attention all the time. It's like his show. Get out of there. I'm telling you, get out of there. He's not the real deal. He's a deceiver. Should be a humble person. Kind, humble, always willing to help. It's not about him. It's about you. No. It's about Jesus. There's a lot of false, and it ticks me off as a believer, because a lot of people look at it, religion is a bunch of baloney. You're not going to understand where people are coming from looking at clowns like this. But there is a spiritual battle, good and evil. And evil sometimes takes a very overt presence to fight good. And sometimes the darkness tries to mimic the light to deceive. Mm-hmm. Many times that's the strategy. And you get people like this. Let me read a little bit from the passage here. These people, and I would throw the Tea Partiers, who are mainly people who want to call themselves Christians.
Well, you know what?
The Sarah Palins, all these people.
I'm going to throw all politicians. I'm talking all of them.
Yeah, the
no
Sarah
Palins,
all these people who want to use
Because they are not true religious people.
No.
They use it.
They use
it as a tool.
Don't be
And
fooled.
people-
Don't be deceived. Don't be
anybody-
misled. And don't be
Yeah.
turned off. I would say that too. Now, if we're really following Jesus, listen to what he said in Matthew chapter 5, starting verse 43. This is what I like about Jesus. And this is what's so different about God compared to man and his way of thinking. It's radical. Really radical in a positive way. He says, if you have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you. And pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven, for he makes his sun rise on evil and on good, and sends rain on the just and unjust. Mm-hmm. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? Love those who love them? So even back then, folks, tax collectors were looked down on. And even if you greet your brothers only, what do you do more than others? Even tax collectors do that. Therefore, you shall be perfect, just as your Father in heaven is perfect. If we model what Christ said, he said, don't hate your enemy. Love your enemy. Bless those who curse you. Bless them. Do good to those who hate you. And pray for those who spitefully use you. Do you hear any of this from any of these people?
No.
Absolutely not.
We must do away
We
with
got to
our
stand.
enemies.
We're
We
not going
must
to be
go
pushed
after
around
them.
anymore. We're going to take it to them. We're going to kill them. We have to kill all these evil people. That's the only way to find peace.